The GOAT list is a very commonly spoken about topic in MMA. However, this man on the screen here, Sean Strickland, is definitely in that conversation in the middleweight division. In this video, I'm going to go through my top 5 middleweight GOATs and give my reasoning and who I think is in the top 5 middleweight GOAT list. Before I get into the list, I'm going to give an honourable mention to Khamzat Chimaev. I believe he has the potential to one day be in the top 5 middleweight GOATs. Potentially even the middleweight GOAT if he can go on and continue to defend his belt. He's looking dominant as of now, undefeated prospect. Still never lost, and he's dominating guys he fights. Guys out there dominates Dricus du Plessis and Robert Whittaker. That is very impressive. However, his caliber of wins and opponents in the middleweight division is a bit shallow for me to put him in the top 5. Number 5, Bobby Knuckles, aka Robert Whittaker. I believe this man is a top 5 middleweight fighter of all time. Yes, now he's on the downward spiral, losing to guys like Chimaev and Reinier Derrida. But he put up a good fight against Reinier Derrida. Not so much against Chimaev, but that's what Chimaev does. He'll go there and ragdoll you. But Robert Whittaker's a UFC vet, been in the UFC since 2014, made his debut at welterweight. Obviously come up to the middleweight division. And he's got an incredible resume. He's got wins over guys like Brad Tavares, Uriah Hall, Derek Brunson, Ronaldo Souza. Beat Yoel Romero twice to win the belt, as we saw there. Unfortunately, losing to Adesanya for the belt. Let's get it right. If Adesanya never existed, Robert Whittaker would have had a solid title reign as UFC champ. And post Adesanya losses, he's got wins over guys like Cannonier, Costa, and Vettori, solidifying himself as a top contender in the middleweight division for many years. And for that reason, you have to respect him as a top 5 middleweight of all time. Yes, he's never won the belt, really. No, of course he's won the belt. I mean, defended the belt and had a run at the top of the division. But if you take away the losses to Adesanya and DDP, he's beaten all of the top prospects he's been put against. Sadly, he's fallen short against incredible fighters in the division like DDP, Chimaev, and Adesanya. In his prime, he goes out there and easily dispatches Reinier Derrida and probably has a competitive fight with Khamzat Chimaev. I don't know if he'd have won it, but you have to respect Robert Whittaker. He's definitely a top 5 middleweight of all time. Number 4 on the GOAT list, I have Dricus du Plessis, bro. Bro, what do you mean I'm number 4, bro? Did you not see me go out there and beat Sean Strickland, bro? You should have Adesanya, bro. I'm going to drop a flying anvil on you, bro. Literally, bro. I've got DDP at number 4. Just because I think the 3 guys ahead of him have better resumes. And have done it for longer. DDP is an incredible fighter, don't get me wrong. And I think we may see a trilogy with Strickland down the line, or a rematch with Chimaev, or him versus Imavov for the belt. But I assume he's going to fight Brendan Allen next. I think he beat Brendan Allen, and then he's in a bit of an awkward spot, because if Strickland Imavov are the champs, he should for sure get a title shot. But if Khamzat is the champ, do we want to see DDP rematch Khamzat? I don't know. But guys undefeated in the UFC, bar the Khamzat fight, incredible wins, underdog wins against Robert Whittaker when he got it. He's technically beaten Sean Strickland twice, which is incredible on your resume. Beat Adesanya. Earlier wins over guys like Darren Till and Brunson. He's only lost to Khamzat in the UFC, so we have to respect the guy's name. Champ with 2 title defenses. One of the more dominant middleweight champs of the recent era. Yeah, he's earned himself a spot in that top 4, in that top 5, sorry. I think he's an incredible matchup. All Khamzat Chimaev in a rematch. He's obviously shown himself against Strickland, and I think he probably beats Imavov. Good fighter. Not quite top 3 level though. Number 3, I have the man himself, Sean Strickland. I believe he is the most underrated middleweight of all time in the UFC. Made his middleweight debut in 2020. Yeah, a couple of crap guys he beat to start with, but he beat a younger Brendan Allen by KO. Uriah Hall, people thought he was going to lose that matchup. Jack Hermansson, solid middleweight guy. Arguably beat Jared Cannonier. Beat Imavov on short notice. Then beat Abus Magomedov, which ain't a great win, but he was a prospect at the time. Flew all the way to Australia. Short notice. Relatively short notice. Beat arguably the last time we saw Prime Izzy in the UFC. Absolute dog walked him 50-45. Maybe 49-46, but 49-46 at the least. Put him down in the first, dominated him the rest. And then he had that DDP era where I thought he won the first fight, and he's come out recently that he was injured going into the second. That's not me saying he would have beaten DDP. No, wait. No, shut the fuck up. He was injured in that the second DDP fight, and that would have been a much more competitive fight. Obviously, if Sean Strickland wasn't injured. So for that reason, I'm going to put him above DDP because he's got a larger resume, champ as well, and he's proving it in modern day. He's just gone out there and beaten Fluffy Hernandez by TKO, showing major improvements in the wrestling, showing finishing instincts again on the feet. And I think he deserves a Hamzat Chimaev fight for the belt. And this is a hot take. He has the best chance of beating Hamzat Chimaev because he's so awkward on the feet and has solid wrestling. Obviously, it's not Hamzat Chimaev level, but he could beat Hamzat. And for that reason, and the resume he's got and the recency he's had, he's top 3 all time. Number 3, you could interchange him and DDP, I don't care. 3, 4, it's all the same. Strickland is definitely top 5 middleweight all time. People don't like him because he says edgy shit. You have to respect his fighting ability, whether you like the guy or not. You have to admit he's a top level UFC middleweight fighter, and there is not many guys out there in the world that could beat him. That's all I've got to say on Sean Strickland. He's for sure in the top 5. Number 2 all time, I have the last style bender, Israel Adesanya. Obviously, an incredible title reign. It may have not been entertaining, but you have to respect the title reign. The guys he beat aren't the best, Vittori, Cannonier, Costa. Who else did he beat? Pereira, but you'll get to that in a second. Pereira, he had the belt for a long time. He was a very active champ. On the come up, he was fun to watch, but he'd become a bit of a fucking jab leg kick merchant, stay at range. However, he's an elite fighter. Not many guys have beaten him. Only elite level fighters have beaten him. And yeah, he's slick on the feet. Not many guys can catch him. You've got to be elite to beat Israel Adesanya. That's why I think he may beat Joe Python in his upcoming matchup. I'm not too sure. But we'll get to his weaknesses. He has weakness on the feet in the boxing range. You see him get exploited by Strickland, Imavov. And that's where you could pick Python to beat him. You could pick Python to KO him, but we're not here to talk about that. We're just a GOAT list. And Adesanya is definitely top 2 all time. Whether you put him 1 or 2, it's interchangeable between him and Anderson Silva, who I obviously have at number 1, as you can tell already by now. Adesanya's had some setbacks, He went up to try and challenge Jan Blachowicz. He's not built like a 205, or at least he wasn't at the time. He's still not now. Got ragdolled. Went and got KO'd by Pereira. That was his nemesis. His kryptonite at the time. Yeah, he got it back in blood, as King Von would say. A great KO of Alex Pereira in a rematch in the UFC. Then he went out there and got absolutely doggled by Sean Strickland, beaten at his own game on the feet, got sat down by Strickland, who clowned all time for having no power. He's still above Strickland all time because of the resume. But then you lose the belt to Strickland, you sit out for a year and a half, and you get gifted a title shot. Fair play, you have credit in the bank. And you get choked out by DDP, who is I don't know. We're not going to say that. It's a close fight before the submission, but DDP exploited Adesanya's weakness in the grappling and got the win. We have to credit Adesanya. He's got an incredible resume. He's been in the MMA world for years, combat sports, professional kickboxer before the UFC. Incredible fighter in the middleweight division. Will go down as one of the GOATs, however, not the GOAT in my eyes. He's past his prime now, obviously coming to the downward spiral, but he's got a chance to prove it. And if he beats Joe Python, I'll prove a lot of people wrong and show that he's still got it. To be fair, he has only ever lost to elite guys. Strickland, Pereira, Imavov, Blachowicz in the UFC. To be fair, they're not awful losses. He's not like he goes out there against random guys and gets colded. But For me, he's number 2 all time. That therefore leaves us with Anderson the Spider Silva, the guy with one of the largest win streaks of all time in the UFC ever. uh, 15 fights in a row in the UFC is very impressive. Not many fighters will ever do that. He's got incredible KOs over guys like Vitor Belfort, Charles Sonnen, Boris Griffin, Stephan Bonner, Dan Henderson, and he has a modern day win over Brunson. But Brunson's not the best. Legacy, Prime Anderson Silva would have beaten all these guys in this list I've mentioned. Maybe a guy like Strickland could have caused him problems with the awkwardness on the feet. Maybe DDP could have took him down. That was the only weakness in Silva's game, was the grappling. But as a striker, he was elite in his prime. One of the slickest guys in the UFC. The way he dispatched the Forrest Griffin was embarrassing. He was taunting with these guys he was fighting. That's why he lost to Chris Weidman the first time. And another thing to say, Anderson Silva started his downward spiral at 38 years old. That's understandable. He was a long-time champ. Had the downward spiral at the end of his career, like all fighters do usually. If you go over Teixeira, and solidifies himself as the middleweight goat with the work he did prior to his downfall. In his prime, no one could get near him on the feet. He only lost to Weidman because he was taunting with him. You could argue that's pretty stupid. It was fucking stupid. He didn't have the leg break. That impacted his speed on the feet. How dangerous he was. He is for sure the middleweight goat. Potentially in the future, Hamzat Chimaev could overtake him if he stays active at middleweight and doesn't go charging up to light heavyweight. Yeah, the only criticism you could have is that the level of comp was nowhere near as good, and we saw major holes in his game in the wrestling. So Charles Sonnen nearly beat him, but he showed true heart of a champion to get that arm triangle in the dying ends to retain the belt against Anderson. Against Charles Sonnen. That's my GOAT list. Let me know what you guys think. I think Josh Strickland is for sure in the top 5. You could interchange between him, Whitaker, and DDP, but for sure Anderson Silva is number 1 and Adesanya is number 2. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what you think. Drop a like, subscribe, follow me on TikTok, same name, Dilly MMA, X, all that good stuff. Like, subscribe, follow. Thank you guys for watching.